Hey guys, so welcome to today's video and welcome on into my beauty stash. It is that time of the year where we just start rounding up all of the products that we've used this year, all the new products that we've tried this year, and start ranking them for you guys. I've already done foundation ranking video, holiday eyeshadow palette ranking video, and now it's time for just an overall eyeshadow palette ranking video. I'm breaking these up into two different videos, best and worst. Today we're doing the best. This was a very hard video for me to make. I tried so many amazing palettes in 2022. Happy to report way more good than bad. And I'm also happy to report that all of the palettes in today's video are indie makeup brands. That's phenomenal. For these small companies, small businesses across the US and beyond to make such a profound impact in the way we buy makeup, what we look for in our makeup, these brands have definitely given the large scale mainstream makeup brands a big run for their money. And to be honest, I don't think those mainstream brands are going to be able to catch up. So today is going to be all about my top 10 favorite eyeshadow palettes of 2022. If it is your first time here on my channel, I want to say hello and welcome to all of you. My name is Steff and this is what I love to do. I love trying out new makeup. You're always going to see the latest and greatest in makeup reviews. I do multiple looks with eyeshadow palettes. I did film this look today. You guys have probably already seen this look go up. It went up as a YouTube short and I am wearing the Merry Christmas palette from Oden's Eye, another amazing palette that was released this year. But here on my channel, we do makeup ranking videos like the one you're seeing today. We just talk about makeup. We have a fabulous time while talking about the makeup. If that sounds like somewhere you want to be and something you want to see on pretty much a daily basis, I do tend to upload quite a bit. Do me a favor and click on the subscribe button and hit the bell next to it. That way you'll be notified every time I do drop a new video. And if you're a fan of makeup ranking videos or you really want to see what topped my list for 2022, give this video a thumbs up before you go. I will have everything that I'm wearing, the palettes, some that are still available because some of them were limited edition. Everything will be linked and listed in the description box. Some of those links might be affiliate links, so if you do end up shopping through them, I thank you so much for supporting me and my channel. Let's dive on into it, guys. If y'all want to see the top 10 eyeshadow palettes in my stash for 2022, keep on watching. Coming in the number 10 spot is a palette that was limited edition this Halloween season, but I've been seeing some sneak peeks over on the Unearthly Cosmetics website that tells me maybe this palette or a version of this palette might be coming back really soon. And I'm talking about the Warms My Blood palette. I get some PR from Unearthly Cosmetics. I don't get everything. This I purchased myself and wow, this was the larger palette that was released for Halloween 2022. They also released, I think it was 3 or 4 12-pan palettes. I did get one of those sent to me in PR, but this is the showstopper right here. I mean, this could even be a holiday palette because of those beautiful reds and purples and golds in here. This palette, the performance of it, I think is one of the best palettes formula-wise, shade-wise, I mean just packaging-wise that Unearthly Cosmetics has done. I like the way it opens as a book. You do have a full-size mirror over here on the opposite side, but these matte shadows are spectacular. The shimmer shadows, though, are the standout point of this entire palette. They just take the look to the next level. I cannot say enough amazing things about this palette and the artist who designed the cover art. Wow, I don't know if it was the same artist that did all of the Halloween palettes, but kudos to them because from everything inside out, Unearthly Cosmetics amazing formula, the artistic genius who created the outward packaging, just A+. I hope those of you that wanted this palette were able to pick it up, but definitely follow Unearthly Cosmetics on Instagram because they have something up their sleeve, I think, when it comes to this palette, so you're definitely going to want to stay tuned. Coming in at number 9 is a brand that I tried for the first time in 2022, and OMG, did they make an amazing first impression. And I tried this brand because so many of you out there love this brand, you rave about this brand, and you were so happy when I tried my first palette from this brand earlier this year. I'm talking about Blend Bunny, specifically the All Done Up palette, and I'm just gonna say the All Done Up collection because the collection included a black gel liner. It included it's a couple of different like little lip kits with lip liners and liquid lipsticks, all of which I have been thoroughly enjoying. But this palette made an amazing impression in my stash. Love the packaging. I love the size of this palette. We are getting quite a few number of shadows in here, but the overall size of the palette, it's small enough. It's small enough to where it doesn't make storing it cumbersome. It's just a really beautiful eyeshadow palette, more on the neutral side, which some of you are probably thinking, Steph, you love colorful makeup. How did this neutral palette find its way into your top 10 of the year? It found its way there because the quality is perfection. Blend Bunny, they really do have a very unique matte formula. Will I say it's my favorite matte formula? I'm still trying to figure that out. There's definitely other matte formulas from other brands that I do enjoy quite a bit, but Blend Bunny is definitely up there. If it's not my favorite, it's definitely in my top 3 of favorite matte formulas. What I think not a lot of people talk about when it comes to Blend Bunny are their shimmer shadows. And for me, if I had to pick between the two, I think their shimmer shadows are top notch. This is what makes the palette for me. I love the row of shimmers that they gave us down here because any one of those 5 shimmers could easily complement any one of these 15 matte shades that you're getting. I also like the layout of Blend Bunny palettes. They go from light to medium to deep, which make this a very user-friendly palette because all you have to do is take this column by column by column and you have your look right there. Please, if you're just starting out with makeup, don't be intimidated by the eyeshadow palettes. Usually you can divide your palettes up either by columns or by rows or by little quads, and you can get a very cohesive look that way, or mix and match. You guys know I love to just go all over the palette and try anything and everything, put stuff together that normally wouldn't ordinarily go together. This palette has been a dream to work with. I love it. It has green in it, so what's not to love? And I'm really excited for what Blend Bunny has for us in 2023. Coming in at number 8 is pretty much an entire brand, and it's a brand that I tried for the first time in 2022, and I'm talking about Adept Cosmetics. I tried so much stuff from Adept Cosmetics. I was kindly sent some of the things in PR as well. However, there is one palette that I do want to spotlight, and this was the very first time, my very first purchase from Adept Cosmetics, my very first experience with Adept Cosmetics, and it is the Heather Austin palette. Heather Austin is a fellow content creator here on YouTube. She also has an Instagram. She is a beautiful, bright, she is just that girl that is full of sunshine. And you want to get happy, go watch Heather's channel because she lives on sunshine. I don't know how she does it, but she does. And all of that happiness that she has, she drew upon that and created this gorgeous palette. This palette definitely gives me those ABH subculture vibes, which I loved ABH subculture. Yes, it wasn't the best performing palette, but you gotta admit that subculture color story was definitely a good one. It still is. It's definitely, I think, one of the best color stories of all time. I'll go on the record of saying it. And I love that Heather gave us some of those vibes in her very first palette collaboration. I think that the inclusion of the 4 mattes was definitely needed. I hope Adept Cosmetics continues to include a few more mattes within their palettes. They tend to be more on the shimmer heavy side when it comes to eyeshadow palettes, but this one is absolute perfection. Heather loves her sparkly, shifty shadows, and you can definitely tell as she curated this eyeshadow palette with Adept. These shadows in here, all of them, and here are the shimmers. They just work so well together. They look beautiful. It's so much fun swatching. If you've never tried Adept Cosmetics, try them. The first thing you're going to want to do is swatch them. Swatch the shimmer shadows, see how they look on the back of your hand, see how they look on your fingertips, and then you're going to understand why this brand is developing a cult following. I do have a code with Adept. I believe it is Steff. Steff or Steff 10. I'll have all my codes in the description box in case you want to pick anything up. But the Heather Austin palette, if you haven't gotten it yet, it is a permanent in the Adept lineup. Definitely grab this on your next Adept Cosmetics haul. Now, coming in at number 7 is the Monte Verde, the Costa Rica palette from Nomad Cosmetics. I just uploaded a YouTube short a few days ago where I created a tropical Christmas look using this palette, and I love Nomad. I received this palette in PR. I do have a code with Nomad, again, in the description box. But I would have bought this palette on my own, as I have so many other Nomad Cosmetics palettes. But this is such a beautiful tropical color story, and you're probably shocked, Steff, how did you get a Christmas look out of this palette? Trust me, I did, and you guys have probably already seen it up on my channel. This is a color story that I could use day in and day out and never get bored. Nomad Cosmetics has a really nice matte eyeshadow formula, and they also have a really pretty shimmer shadow formula. Some of these shimmers in here, well, they all pack a punch, but some of them have those beautiful little shifts to them, especially this one right here. This is like a gold to brown to pink almost. I was so inspired by this palette. I had so much fun working with this palette. So much so that I looked up Costa Rica. I asked a few friends here on YouTube and over on Instagram, tell me about your experience in Costa Rica. What did you guys do? Where did you guys go? So in my discussions with my friends, everybody seems to have nothing but good things to say about Costa Rica. So I decided that that is likely the place where I am going in 2023 for my summer vacation. I just have to decide which part of the country do I want to go to. Do I want to visit like the Pacific side, or do I want to visit the Atlantic side? I think we're leaning more towards the Pacific side, but you can best believe this palette is coming along for the ride, and I hope I see one of these cute little sloths that they put here on the cover over there. But this really was such an inspirational eyeshadow palette to play with, so much so that it inspired me to go visit Costa Rica sooner than later. Coming in at number 6 is a palette from a brand that I couldn't imagine not putting this brand on the top 10 list. It wouldn't be complete. It wouldn't be a top 10 list without Sugar Drizzle, and more specifically the Dragonfly Warrior palette. I love the message that it says on the outward packaging. What if I fall? But oh my darling, what if you fly? And that's all that life is about, taking those chances, those leaps of faith. Leaps of faith. We gotta have faith in ourselves, because if we don't have faith in ourselves, nobody else is gonna have faith for us. Open the palette up, you do get a mirror, and this is the gorgeous color story. You guys know I love green, and we definitely have some beautiful green shadows included in this palette. I love the row of blue and duochrome, even it's like a little purpley leaning shade up here. I mean, everything is just so beautiful when it comes to this palette. We're getting 3 matte shades, and then the rest, the other 6, are going to be shimmer, multi, and duochrome shadows. I love this palette. What can I say? For me, I can create several different looks out of it. I mean, you give us that matte black in there the way Sugar Drizzle did, and all you have to do is lay that down, pack it on the lid, and put any one of these shadows on top of it. You're going to have an amazing look. I love that Sugar Drizzle is able to do a really good price point when it comes to their special shadow formulas. And I want to say this palette is in stock right now. I do have a code with Sugar Drizzle. I believe it's Steff 10. It's in the description box. I hope this palette is in stock. I have a feeling it might be. But if you haven't picked up Dragonfly Warrior, this is a must-add add to your stash. Coming in at number 5 is a collaboration palette from a brand that I've really fallen in love with, and I'm good friends with the owner, Christina, and I'm talking about the Doodles by the Bunny and Gourmand Girls collaboration spooked eyeshadow palette. If you ask me, this was one of the best palettes. I think this made number 1 or number 2 on my best Halloween palettes of 2022. Oh, let's really quick give a shout out to the artwork, which Angela, who is Doodles by the Bunny, which she designed so well. I love it, and I love the size of this palette. It's a thin palette, but it's definitely packed with an amazing array of shadows, from matte formula to amazing shimmers with shifty shades in there. I'll tell you that this matte shade right here called Fright is easily one of the best matte shades that I've ever used in my life. Gourmand Girls, they upped their game when it came to this palette. I know Christina was kind of telling me a little bit about the background and what was going on, you know, with her lab, and kind of like a shift in formulas, so to speak. So they're really paying attention. They're paying attention to y'all's comments. They're paying attention to the feedback that they get, and the proof is right here, because I think this is one of the best, if not the best, eyeshadow palettes that Gourmand Girls has released to date, and I know they have some amazing things in the work. I cannot wait to see what Gourmand Girls has in store for us for 2023. I know it has to be special. I know Christina, she is just so happy. She was just so excited, and Angela too, with the release of this palette. It sold out, and then it came back, and then it sold out again. A lot of you guys were just so excited that you were able to pick it up. Again, I do have a code with them. Everything is in the description box. I just love this palette. I loved it. And the green, I mean, look at how that green just pops in these otherwise like warmer tone shadows. It's great. And look at the artwork. They carried it down into the inside of the palette. Christina, Angela, congratulations on the Spook palette. I cannot wait to see more from Gourmand Girls in 2023. Coming in at number 4 is also a brand that I tried for the first time in 2022, and also a brand that I could not make a top 10 list without including them in some way, shape, or form. This palette that they released over Halloween was probably one of the best palettes, along with the Spook palette, of the entire season, and I am talking about Bella Beauty Bar and the Strange and Unusual palette. Thanks to you guys, and thanks to me getting this palette. I did receive this one in PR. I had never seen the movie Beetlejuice. Watched it, like, I've seen it 10 times now, but everything makes sense. Everything inside of this palette, the cover art, everything makes sense now that I watched the movie, and I'm so excited I did. Thank you guys for encouraging me so much to watch the movie. This is a palette that has a few matte shades and amazing multi and duochrome shadows. I cannot begin to tell you how much I loved working with this palette, and all of the shade names, like this one right here, this is Beetlejuice the way he spells it in the movie, but when I was making the video, I couldn't pronounce this. I was like, what is this called? Because there was already a shade called Beetlejuice the way you would normally spell it. And I'm looking for that shade. Here it is, right here. So this is the way you would normally spell Beetlejuice if you were spelling it, you know, like beetle the bug and juice what you drink. But this is the way he spells it in the movie. And I didn't know that because at the time of making the video, again, I hadn't seen the movie. Everything makes sense now. Everything makes sense. The color story makes sense. The color story is just spot on. I loved it. I loved it. This was one of my favorite palettes of 2022. I am so happy to have this in my collection, and believe me, I am not reserving this. I'm not reserving this or the Unearthly Cosmetics palette just for the fall and Halloween times. You guys will see me use these year round because they are that good. We can't just put them away. We gotta use what we have, and Wow, talk about two amazing releases for the Halloween season. Coming in at number 3 is a collection of 6-pan eyeshadow palettes that I tried kind of at the beginning of 2022. And I'm talking about these right here from Colored Rain. These are the Chic palettes. I think that's what they're calling them, Chic palettes. This one is Sunset Chic, and I have a video where I create a look using all 4 palettes. This one is Wealthy Chic. Oh, beautiful is this palette. Colored Rain has an amazing formula. Their mattes are great, but their shimmers are even better. This one right here is Pretty Chic. Love this, like a little Barbie palette. And then last but not least, if you're wanting a neutral palette that is less than $20, all of these palettes are around the $16 or $17 price point. Look at Neutral Chic here. I mean, this is your one and done neutral palette. You have solid matte shadows at the bottom, and you have amazing sparkly shimmer shadows at the top. This is just, it's phenomenal. Colored Rain has really been the brand that has kind of taken me down to smaller eyeshadow palettes. Just having an appreciation for smaller eyeshadow palettes and not feeling like I need to own every single shade in one palette. And I have to give them credit because their 6-pan palettes that they've released, not just with this Chic collection, but throughout the year, have been phenomenal. I'm just so excited about this brand. I think that they've been doing one amazing release after the other. Let me know if you picked up the Thunderstorm palette. Was it the Thunderstorm or Thunderstruck? I think it was Thunderstorm palette, because if you're looking for a blue-gray palette, that is a fantastic palette. Just really good. Colored Rain has an amazing eyeshadow palette formula. They also have really nice lip products. If you've never tried the brand out, they might even be having a sale right now. Head on over to their website. Check them out. Every now and then I will get PR from them, but these I did purchase myself, and I am so excited that I have these in my stash, and I truly have been enjoying these all year long. Coming in at number 2 is a palette that I thought I was going to see at the very top of the list this year, but it's making the number 2 spot. And I'm not mad about that at all. And this palette shouldn't be mad that it's in the number 2 spot. It is still a phenomenal palette. And I am talking about the Lethal Cosmetics Nightflower palette. For me, this palette just represents a change for the brand. I feel like this is one of the best palettes that they've done. I felt like when I tried this palette, I could see a change in their formula, both matte and shimmer wise, and especially like their shifty shadows. I mean, I just had such a wonderful experience with this palette. The color story for me is just something that I gravitate towards. And I love some good purples. I love blue included with those purples. I just think Lethal Cosmetics did a beautiful job with this Nightflower palette. It was a full collection. I want to say I picked up a couple of the highlighters as well, but the palette for me was definitely the standout, the focal point. And what I like about this palette is that they gave us a gray down here. We don't always get gray in our eyeshadow palettes, and sometimes including a gray can change an otherwise warm tone palette into a cool tone palette, and that's what I liked. Although I do feel this is more leaning on the cool tone side. But yeah, I love the color story of this. All of Lethal Cosmetics pans, you can pop them out. They do have a magnetic base, and you can buy all of the shades individually. Let me know if you picked up this palette. Maybe you picked up the entire collection. What has your experience been? For me and Lethal Cosmetics, I have just really seen a change for the better. I think that they are really improving upon their formulas, not just the mattes, but the shimmers and multi-chromes and stuff. And you know, as long as they don't change that gel liner formula, because they have the best gel liners that I have ever tried, I think Lethal Cosmetics is in for an amazing year in 2023, and I cannot wait. Okay guys, the number 1 palette in my stash for 2022. Can you guess? Can you guess what it is? I bet you can, or maybe you can't, but here it is. The Oden's Eye Soul Mane 2 palette. And I don't think I pronounced that right, so I am so sorry. But from the cover art, you get the shade names on the back, to what is included inside is spectacular. I took this palette with me on vacation. No regrets doing that. Got tons of compliments by doing that. And I think this color story is just so beautiful to look at and even more fun to play with. Get this palette home. This is going to be a permanent. I don't think this is limited edition. Not entirely sure, but hopefully it is in stock. Maybe you guys picked it up during Black Friday if it was in stock, so you got it on sale. But I love the tones in this palette. We have some jewel tones in here. We have some deeper shades to where we can deepen up the look, make it a little more dramatic. But we also have these lighter tone shades, kind of some of them are mid-tone shades as well, to where we can keep this very light, very spring, very summer. It's just gonna depend on the kind of look you're wanting to achieve. But what is so special about this palette is those shimmer shadows that have all of those beautiful shifts to them. I mean, I don't know. Oden's Eye, another brand that with each release, they keep getting better and better and better. They're listening, guys. All of the brands out there, all of the comments you make, all of the feedback you give, they're listening. They're reading, they're understanding, and they're taking action on it. And that's the best thing. And maybe the action, you know, don't expect the action to happen overnight. There is obviously a process when it comes to production. I am just so happy that I can see these brands. You know, some of these are my favorite indie brands, and I can see them changing for the better. And it's just wonderful. It's wonderful to see the growth, to see the improvement, and to see that they do take our feedback seriously. Soulmane 2, just iconic. Beautiful. Loved it. Loved the color story. This was my only palette that I had all year round. I definitely wouldn't be disappointed. Okay guys, so that wraps up my top 10 eyeshadow palettes in my stash for 2022. Guys, I tried a lot. I tried a lot of eyeshadow palettes. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to rank every single eyeshadow palette. I think that would make for a really, really long video. I like narrowing things down. I like just giving you guys top 10, top 5, maybe even top 20 from time to time. But if I can narrow things down for you, I really hope that that helps you all make some good buying decisions, if not in the present, then for the future. Because trust me, I know how hard it is. That FOMO effect takes hold of you, and I'm just so happy for all of you who kept your no buy up this year, or who did a low buy, and even those of you going into no buy and low buys for 2023. Y'all are getting 2 big thumbs up for me. You know, I don't think I could do that. I'm not planning to do that, obviously, because I have this YouTube channel, but kudos to all of you who are able to do that and practice that self-restraint. This is why I make these videos. I narrow these videos down to top 10 or top 5 products, just so that hopefully you guys out there won't feel the need to own everything. Just have a small collection of really amazing eyeshadow palettes in your stash. You're going to be set for quite some time. Let me know your thoughts, guys, on today's video. How did some of your favorites rank? What are your top 10 palettes of 2022? Sound off in the comments down below. I want to thank you guys so much for watching another one of my videos. You all have a great day or night, wherever it is you all are at. Stay hydrated, guys. Drink that water, and I'll see y'all very soon. Bye.